Hello Steve. Hello Jill. It's time to game classy.
I don't know why my iPad is so slow at your house.
You didn't come prepared.
Well, normally I'm pretty quick on it.
You're definitely not Scar from The Lion King, because he sings an entire song about being prepared.
That's my daughter's favorite song in The Lion King.
You know that Jeremy Irons fucked up his voice halfway through that song,
Irons.
and he couldn't sing the rest of it. But Ed the hyena finished that song, so that song is actually two people singing it.
Oh,
that's. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And there's your Lion King factoid of the week.
Lion King factoid. Do, 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 do.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Hi, everyone. In case you can't tell, Steve is... It's
fucking in a Disney movie.
It's later on in the day, so it's going to be one of those episodes, people. It's going to be one of those.
Hi, Joe, you're always after me potatoes.
Yeah, you can't get Steve after he's had his caffeine. You got to catch him midway through drinking his first cup of coffee. So that way he starts off slow and gradually crescendos. Right now we're at peak Steve, and we don't really know where we're gonna go from there. Speaking of my daughter, because I know how much you love me talking about her.
I really do. I would love to hear absolutely everything you have to say. Did you steal any of your potatoes, Joe?
Ghostbusters was on IFC yesterday, and she came downstairs while I was watching it, and she was just like, and my wife was there, and my wife panicked because it was right at the point where one of the dogs is attacking Lewis Tully, in the apartment where he's like,
yeah,
all right, who brought the dog? And my wife freaked out because she was like, oh my god, Penny's gonna be terrified by this monster. And my daughter looks at it and goes, that's funny. I thought you'd appreciate that.
All right,
because of all the Ghostbusters drama that went on this week.
There's Ghostbusters drama?
Yeah, apparently people give a shit about a reboot / remake for some odd reason. Even though we all know it's going to suck. Regardless of the fact. It could be funny, but you know what? It'll be instantly forgettable. We won't care about it 3 months after it's released. Just like
Probably.
RoboCop.
Well, I mean, the RoboCop sucked. If it doesn't suck, then people might care about it.
It doesn't even matter if it sucks or not. It doesn't suck. It's just people are gonna forget it. They forget every reboot, every remake. The Total Recall one.
That one was also really bad. I'm saying you have to come up with a reboot that wasn't amazing. Dawn of the Dead by Zack Snyder. People love that movie.
Yeah, but that one came out 2003, 2004. Yeah, it was before
Still
it got
a reboot,
really
though.
crazy though.
Still a reboot that's memorable because it's very good.
Yeah,
but my point is the reboots that are very good are very
slim to none.
Yeah, slim to none.
But that's what the reason with this Ghostbusters is people freaking out because there's women playing the Ghostbusters. I don't care. It's not going to be good.
It should
regardless.
just be a sequel. I don't know why it's a reboot.
It shouldn't. They shouldn't even do it.
It's gonna happen.
I know
they cannot. They will not finance original movies.
No,
so
not anymore.
They have to do sequels or reboots. I'd prefer, given the two options of film I can have. I'm sorry, three options. I can have comic movie, I can have reboot, or I can have sequel. So, given the three options of films that are made, I would prefer it to have been sequel, not reboot.
Yeah,
because those are the three movies you can watch, Joe. Or you can also watch super cheap to make Oscar grabs.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the one with Benedict Cumberbatch.
You know what I watched yesterday? I watched Ender's Game. Have you seen that? The new one?
No, I never read Ender's Game as a kid, so I had no connection to that at all.
I didn't read it as a kid either. I read it 10 years ago. But it was...
I saw the great movie Bender's Game.
Yes. Ender's Game, it wasn't terrible. I mean, okay, it completely misses...
Did Harrison Ford grab an alien and go, get off my plane?
No, he just talked like this throughout the entire thing.
He's all grumpy.
He's all grumpy.
Just imagine Han Solo talking like that. He's going to be like...
Oh, it's going to be so bad.
He's gonna kick fucking old ass Mark Hamill off the Millennium Falcon. Get off my Falcon!
And with his crutch.
Yes, exactly.
But it completely misses the point of the book. But it's a very beautiful movie. It's all the effects are really nice.
Is the point of the book you should kill the gays?
Yeah. Well, Orson Scott Card.
Is that the hidden meaning?
Yeah, pretty much. No, but it's actually the book is amazing, but for completely different reasons. But the movie just looks really pretty, and all the effects are really well done.
Yeah, I hate movies that have like kids as the stars.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of the book, so I don't. It doesn't bother me that much.
Even if it's like I would not read the book because it's like the little kid couldn't do this. That's stupid.
Well, I mean, the whole point of why the kids are the main thing is it's like the whole video game thing. Like we were talking about with StarCraft, it's like once you reach a certain age, you can't.
You're slow.
And the whole point is that
that age is 25, by the way.
Well, the whole thing is that you reach a kid at like 12, 13, their reflexes and their like ability to multi-process, like all this video game input
is significantly inferior than like an 18-year-old.
Well, no, but the whole point, that's what they say is that like at this peak age is when they can do this. Plus, you don't have to deal with all that, like I've learned that, killing is wrong. At 13, like they're told killing is wrong, but
they've got the action missiles.
Yeah, they got action missiles and everything else. So
I wasn't super interested. I was just like,
I mean, I wasn't either, but I was like, it was on TV, and I was like, I'll give it a watch, and I was like, this ain't bad. So it was on after what the hell was I watching? I was watching something really. National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Ooh, ouch.
There's a lot of boobs in that movie,
but
though.
It's so bad.
There's so many boobs.
There's a lot of boobs on the internet.
Well, I know, but sometimes I like
that is not an argument for why something is watchable.
Sometimes I like to feel a little retro, where it's like, oh, there's boobs in this. Oh,
you
yeah.
feel a little retro? I don't believe it.
Well, yeah, it's true. But I mean, it's like the same reason I still like watching Under Siege, where you see that chick's boobs when she comes out of the cake.
Dude, the best part of that movie is the fact that Steven Seagal breaks everyone's neck.
Gary Busey's
He's got one move. He comes up behind him and breaks their neck.
Gary Busey,
I'm the chef. Fucking Steven Seagal. Man.
Speaking of chefs, Hunt for Red October, amazing fucking movie. I've watched that 3 times this week.
I'm going to get on my boat, I'm going to drive up reefer, and I'm going to kick Bison's ass so hard, the next Bison's going to feel it.
Why are we all of a sudden doing... This is why we have to catch you early, so you're not going on these weird Jean-Claude Van Damme tangents.
Dude, you fucking don't disrespect Jean-Claude Van Damme.
JCVD?
That's right.
As I like to come. All right, let's get into some gaming news really quick. No major news. I mean, the internet has been barren of Pokehammer rumors, so we're not going to cover that too much. But like within the last 2 weeks, I've had like 16 people come up to me like in my gaming group going, "So, Joe, what the fuck's going on with Warhammer?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's Pokehammer, man. Bubbles in the warp. Everyone's bouncing off each other. Doesn't know. It's going to be like Warma Hordes or Horde Machine."
Your answer should have been, I don't know. It's shit, like it's always been.
No, because it's been shit, like it's been since 6th edition.
Nope, it's been retroactively destroyed. The end times, all previous editions, gone.
They're just
so it's just always been shit.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy about. I was like, "Yeah, we should just go back to 6th edition. It's great." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm on the old Hammer stuff." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't looked too much into it." And he's like, "Yeah, they're all really about 3rd edition." I'm like, "Ew, ugh."
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, why don't you just play a different mass combat game?
Well, if you're gonna do that, why don't you just take a dildo and slap it across your face?
No, I meant like 6th edition or prior. Like going back and playing 6th edition is about as useful as that anyway. Just like play a different mass combat game.
There's not.
Or better yet, play a skirmish game.
Well, people like playing mass combat games. First of all, you have to get that into your head that people do enjoy that.
That's like the smallest percentage of miniatures games players.
Actually, it's the
except for Flarmzawar.
It's like one of the largest. It's just that they're not super active.
They also don't buy figures, so nobody gives a shit about them.
Yeah, they don't.
The thing, like, it doesn't matter what they're playing. Like, nobody cares what you're playing. They care what you're buying.
Yeah, well, for our sakes, yes. I mean, but if you actually, the majority of people who play, the grognards that we always talk about, it's all just mass Napoleonics and like weird ass fucking skills. Like, I'm gonna play the Battle of Waterloo in 54mm. Why? How do you have that many figures? I've been collecting for 62 years.
That sounds terrible in every possible way.
Yeah, but it's out there, and know that
sure
it's out there.
Yeah. But that's why I don't go to fucking Little Wars or any like if it's got historical in the name or references historical, it's like no. I will never be there. That's for you now.
That's for me now. Yeah, I like it.
You need your suspenders and your old man hat.
I wish I could wear it. I want bracers.
Sure,
bracers.
Whatever. Get yourself a freedom cart.
Freedom cart.
Put your army in the little cart and you like drive around.
You're speaking my language, sir.
I got you.
Speaking my language.
And you can get the extra one that comes with the cup holder for the super big gulps.
Can I be slightly more racist?
Is that possible?
No, I'm not racist at all. But I'm saying is like gotta be slightly more racist to be this person in your scenario.
Sure, but you have to be the backhanded racist guy.
Oh, backhanded
so
racist.
Everything has to be like, I'm not racist, but you know.
Well, no, the racism that exists within that community is they're always like really racist against like weird, like they're not like, oh, those Africans. No, it's like they take a specific tribe that like the British
The
fought.
Gutoon?
Yeah,
like the fucking Gutoon.
Well, no, but they're like the Fuzzy Wuzzies. They were no good in the Zululand War or whatever. And I'm just like,
It's the Gutoon.
it's like, dude, like this is just weird. This is like racism that existed like way before. This is like back when people were racist against the Irish. You know, it's like, come on,
the potatoes.
I know. I figured that would set you off on that one.
Potato man.
But yeah, but for fantasy, it's like I got nothing. There's no rumors. No one said anything.
What about the dude with the bow skills? Who's creating the next wave of katanas?
That guy's
but
been
with
out
bows?
for a while.
That video trended recently.
Yeah, I know. I saw. But I mean, that guy's been around for a while.
So now the Shogun, in addition to my immaculate katana blade, you'll find I have immeasurable bow skills.
Where did I was that the Japanese, the way the Japanese do their bows and arrows, like that's how they do it on the Hunger Games. I always find that weird.
Multiple arrows in their hands.
No, that's some weird that's that fucking dude with the shit, and he's like, oh,
I mean, the Persians did that.
yeah. You know what
Egyptians
else? You know
as
what
well.
shoots way faster than a bunch of bows and arrows?
Freedom cannons.
Freedom cannons. Yeah.
Potato guns.
I call it my Toby Keith special. Ugh.
The worst.
Toby Keith doesn't want to be fed. Toby
wants
Keith
to
wants to
hunt.
hunt.
Just see the hat.
All right, but I did want to comment on the Age of Conan Kickstarter, or the Conan Kickstarter, not Age of Conan Kickstarter.
Our sweet game classy fan art.
Oh, that was pretty. We'll talk about that a little bit.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but the Monolith board games, they got the Kickstarter. It's huge. It's at one. Oh, we also got to talk about that exploding kittens too.
All we need to do is say it's fucking stupid.
Yeah. But it's the Age of Conan is at 1.5 million, which is pretty fucking huge, and it's still got like 10 days to go on it, and it's still I just like
People are buying it for the toys.
They are. There's so many figures coming with this fucking
There's
thing.
a lot of toys,
and there's expansions that they're already putting out with it because they've gone past that level of like, okay, we've given you everything we could possibly.
This is no longer reasonable. Here's more stuff.
Yeah, here's stuff that you buy now. So they've opened up like a couple expansion sets on it. Which look,
Do they have a giant spider yet? I want Conan versus a giant spider.
They got a dragon.
All right.
They got a couple monsters, but it does not look like he's fighting a giant spider in any way, shape, or form.
Fuck, man.
They do also
That Kickstarter's headed for disaster.
They also do not have the weird elephant from the story The Tower of the Elephant. That is actually like a Cthulhu beast. Oh, he does fight a giant scorpion though.
All right, I'll give them that.
You'll give him that. They're both in the same family.
It's arachnid.
Yeah, they're both in the arachnid family, if you will.
Scorpions are fucking sweet.
Oh wait, here's a giant spider. Yeah.
See? There you go. You missed it out.
You know, it kind of looks like the spiders that they released for the Hobbit game.
The good ones or the bad ones?
The metal ones.
I think those are the good ones.
I don't know.
I don't know. The Lord of the Rings line has like so many. They have a bunch of different spiders, and like one of them's good. Oh yeah, all right, yeah.
I don't like it because it's got weird skulls on its back for some odd reason.
Well, maybe it's sculpted by an ex-GW staffer.
Well, that's probably what it is.
This is like, and I've got to put these skulls on.
No, Jean. You don't have to put
Post-traumatic skull disorder.
You don't have to put skulls on anything anymore. But skulls. No. You don't have to put skulls on it anymore. You're not at Games Workshop. So I can only have to put one skull on it? No, you don't have to put any skulls on anything.
7 skulls. Got it. I'm reading between the lines here.
There you go. So I don't have to put skulls on there, but I could if I wanted to. Well, yes, I guess you could put skulls on there if you want to. Okay, I'm going to put skulls on there. Well, we have to let him put skulls on there. We'll just put some green stuff over the skulls when he's done with it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry.
Model comes out. Where are the skulls?
Don't think it's just a skull.
Yes.
That's not a spider. That's a skull.
Yes.
fucking GW. God damn it. Fucking.
Is that a D&D? I don't think that's a D&D monster, but that's a good idea for a D&D monster.
Just a skull?
No, a spider that basically operates like a hermit crab, except it uses a skull instead of a shell.
Why can't it just be a hermit crab?
I think that's a thing, though.
Why can't it just be a hermit crab that uses a skull instead of a shell?
Well, I mean, it's got to be a spider. Like, how's the hermit crab going to... Hermit crabs are adorable. It's not going to kill people with its highly toxic venom.
Well, I think it would be funny because there would be the skull with the little legs coming out of the teeth area, and then it's two little, like, eye stalks coming out of the eyes.
Sure, comedic purposes, yeah. But, like, it's not deadly.
And then it's just like...
It's not deadly. I mean, I guess you could have that as your friend. Be like, look at my hermit crab. It's in a skull. And be like, moving his legs listfully in the air.
Well, it could be a giant hermit crab.
Yeah.
But then
it won't be in a human skull. Right,
Yeah.
it won't be in a human skull.
That's true. Oh. I think we're at a conundrum right here.
You've been thwarted.
Well, I mean, the spider, but how's the spider going to see out of the skull?
It's just like the spider's ass is covered by the skull.
Oh, okay, but the skull's backwards then, so you just see this big white orb coming at you as the spider's coming. The only way it would be frightening is if the spider's walking backwards.
Well, no, it would be in the mouth. Like, the ass would be inside the mouth. So, like, the skull would be... You'd see, like, the eyes, the top of the jaw, and then, like, the bottom of the jaw you wouldn't see.
Yeah, but...
No, so, like, if the spider's heading towards you, you'd see the skull eyes.
Yeah, but where would the spider's eyes be?
Right, the same direction. Facing the same direction
I know,
as the
but
skull.
how would it see? Would it see out the skull's eyes? Because the spider...
It's not inside the skull. Just so you know, spiders have an ass.
Oh, so the skull is just resting on top of the spider, if you will?
Yeah, but it's completely covering its ass.
It's
like a skull. It's like a skull with like the front half of a spider coming out of its mouth, just like a hermit crab.
I could see that. I don't find it that scary, though. I think it would be scarier if, like, you came...
Well, when there's a bunch of them, that's the thing.
Oh, okay.
It's not
got
just
a
one.
Swarm!
Yeah, it's a
that's the
swarm
same
of
thing with
skulls.
hermit crabs, where they're like...
No, hermit crabs are still adorable. They're just like, hermit crabs. I want pellets. Give me pellets.
We can't attack it. It keeps moving sideways. It keeps strafing.
Wait, friends. I have a way to stop it. Pellets. He throws out, like, berries and food pellets. Haha, the hermit crab's been thwarted. Let's go. Like, the most lazy, kid-friendly, no-fighting D&D campaign ever. It's like, what have you guys encountered today? Hermit crabs, fluffy bunnies, a dog, some ferrets.
Some ferrets. You have encountered a brace of ferrets.
I hug them. Roll your attack score. I succeed. You hug the ferrets.
Ferrets are disgusting rodents.
They're not rodents. They're weasels.
They're disgusting. Weasels are just long rodents.
I mean, they're not disgusting. They're great.
Ugh, they stink. And they just like...
So you stink.
Oh, coming from you, Mr. Tastic Fart this morning.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Did you get a whiff of that?
Yeah, I did a little bit.
Yes.
My nose is a little stuffy, so I didn't get too much.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get them descented if you're all butthurt about it.
But even still, just... Why the fuck do you want a weasel?
I like the way ferrets smell.
I think ferrets are disgusting creatures. All right, so...
Well, you own a cat, and those things put their anus in your face.
It's true, they do. However, he does keep my house free of mice. He's actually a really good mouser.
Would you say he's a gray mouser?
He's not... He's a tabby mouser, so... It's true.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that shit.
Get out of here with that shit. I'm still trying to think of a better way. How about if it's a giant skull? You come across a giant skeleton, and you're like, oh, it's a dead... It's like, well, maybe this thing will get reanimated.
And a huge hermit crab comes out?
And a huge hermit crab comes out. Or
right.
a giant spider, too. But I like the idea of the eye stalks coming out of the eyes, and, like, the claws coming out the sides. And
well, then you just do a death snail.
Ooh, death snail would be cool, too.
Yeah, you just have the eye stalks coming out of the eyes, and, like, it just, slimes forward, but its slime is, like, acid.
Yeah. Oh, I like this idea, Steve.
Yeah.
Feel free to use our idea of the
skull menagerie.
The skull menagerie.
Everything. Use everything. Use the giant skull hermit crab, the giant skull spider.
Maybe a scorpion too. Scorpion would actually be pretty effective.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Nah, its tail wouldn't be able to get over the top of the skull.
Well, no, you'd
just keep hitting the skull.
You'd have the skull like set to the back, and you wouldn't see it. You'd just see legs.
Yeah.
And then the stinger would come out of the skull's eye.
You wouldn't know which eye. You'd be like, ah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I choose the left eye. It's the right eye.
A dangerous foe indeed.
I use my intuition to see which skull eye the tail will come out of.
I picked up a magic deck.
Oh, did you?
I did. There's a new format. I was really enjoying it.
What's the new format?
It's called Tiny Leaders. So,
like a little tiny Mussolini.
I'm sure I've mentioned. Command.
Tiny Hitler.
I didn't say you have a deck.
Hold me closer, Tiny Hitler.
So racist.
We shall do it for the fatherland.
I thought you played the Polacks.
I did, but I'm just thinking of a little tiny Hitler.
now you're ready to convert over to Nazi Germany.
Well, I'm not. I don't think I
They've
could.
got more flame tanks.
Well, what am I going to have? A tiny Joseph Pilsudski or whatever the Polish leader was at the time?
I don't fucking know.
Or Smigly Ritz.
They're Poland. They got fucking destroyed.
They did. They got wiped. I mostly play Russian, so it'd be
They got Shrek.
tiny Joseph Stalin.
Very good. So it's I'm sure I've talked about Commander before, where you have the 100-card singleton deck. You can only use one of each,
Yeah.
and then you can use a legend as your general. Yeah. And I talked about I hate that format because it's multiplayer, it's casual, it's full of dirtles, it's awful.
Wait, what's a dirtle?
Dirtle is like when you're playing, but like you're not doing anything. Like you take your turn and you do something stupid and then pass, and then when your turn comes back, you take your turn, you do something stupid and you pass. Like it's people who are playing decks that don't do anything, or you it's called dirtling around. You're like slow and meandering, like.
I was
like not
thinking
playing.
of like a portmanteau of like dirt and turtle.
No,
Like it's a dirtle.
No.
It's a turtle that lives in dirt.
Dirtle. So basically, what Tiny Leaders is it's a fusion of Commander and Legacy, which is a very expensive format. Commander can also be very expensive. But the way this works is you have
Why wouldn't they call it Ligamander then?
all of your cards can only cost 3 mana or less.
Okay.
It has singleton rules. It's 50 card decks.
Okay.
You get a 10 card sideboard, and it's made for 1 versus 1.
Okay.
Commander's made for multiplayer, which is awful. The worst way to play Magic ever.
I don't know Magic that well enough to know.
Bad. Yeah. So like, and this is a format where you buy your deck, and you're done. Like if you want to like change, it's eternal. So like the cards don't rotate. And then if you want to update your deck, you can be like, oh, this one new card came out, that's good. Or, hey, I found this old card I didn't see before, and you purchase that one card and you put it in your deck, and like it's good. So like this is the extent of what I'm doing for the format. Like this is my deck. It's over. Like I never need to worry about it rotating. Like this is it.
Interesting.
And they're running tournaments for it, so like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would never have touched Magic again. But this one, I was like, God, they got me.
I'm doing a butt action tournament next Sunday. Over at
nice.
Over at the Drexstar Games.
Flame Tanks banned?
Flame Tanks, of course, are banned.
When are butt action players going to stop being such crybabies and play a game?
We play all the time.
Nope.
Oh, you mean not without Flame Tanks?
You don't play with the real rules.
Yeah, if you don't play with Flame Tanks, you're not playing with the real rules.
You play with made up rules. That's why I always hate comp. Like the dude who organizes the King's War at Adepticon, he's got some weird ass comp system that they use for the tournament at Adepticon, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is not a thing. There is no comp system. So
yeah,
my roommate's bringing a list that's optimized for the comp system, so he breaks none of the comp rules, but his list is fucking broken.
Yeah, you maximize yourself on the whatever the rules set.
It's even more broken though because the comp rules, because they're like I've always said, like you just go like, this is comp is the worst way to do it, because you shit on certain armies. Like Kevin's army, Kevin plays orcs, so he doesn't have war machines or range attacks. So Kevin specifically, his list is shit on super hard by this guy's comp rules because it's about taking multiples of the same unit.
Yeah.
And roommate's list is way better because he's taking 4 cannons, etc. And the things that the orcs have to counter war machines, it's only 1 unit in their army. You're supposed to take a bunch of them, like 5 or 6, to act as screens or like get up there and counter war machines. That's their entire purpose.
Yeah.
But you can only take 3 because of this guy's comp rules. So Kevin's army is nerfed in an already tough matchup, and the war machine armies are buffed.
Well, I mean, that's like a thing that bugs the shit out of me with a lot of tournaments like that. Like, for example, the butt action Adepticon tournament for the singles tournament, which, let me tell you, everyone who plays butt action is probably single.
Hi-yo! Or soon to be single. Divorce papers incoming.
Yeah. But the way that butt action works is you get an activation dice for each unit in your army.
Yeah, you told me you pull it out of the
you pull it out of the
fucking
bag.
thing, yeah.
That's part of the cool thing. So he limited to 12. You could only have 12 units. Well, that shits on a couple armies that are designed around massive amounts of units. Like, and I'm not talking like you min-max it so that you get like take the minimum so you could have maximum amount of dice so you outdice your opponent. But like, for example, the Russians, you get a free unit. The French, you get 2 free units. You know, the British get a free unit. So that free unit, that really limits the amount of points that you could spend on all your other points. So everyone has 12 dice. and it really kind of sucks away the advantage that armies that have massive amounts of troops get. So,
Right. So it's bullshit comp rules.
it's bullshit comp rules. I mean, and this, like I'm sure this guy is a fine person, but like really, like Alessio Cavatore put forth the idea of that being a tournament rule, and everyone shut it down because Alessio Cavatore should not be allowed to write rules after he's written the initial set. We've talked about this. He like thinks way too hard on it, and then
his fine tuning is really bad, but his base rule sets are the best.
Yeah, his fine tuning is just shit. Give it
Other people need to fine tune it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuck, his rules are amazing.
Yeah, like I said, the base rules are always great, and that's what like Kings of War. He did the rules for that. The first edition, it took a very long time for people to actually figure out how to break it.
Yeah,
It took a while. Like people like were playing it and they're like, oh, we're having a good time, and then like, oh wait, this is broken. And then like when you actually do it, you're like, oh, this is fucking really broken. And right on the heels of like, I would say Kings of War like crashing down because of how broken the fucking game actually is, they come out with second edition and fix it.
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. Like, and there's a couple things that trust me, I'm the king of breaking the rules in butt action. You can ask anybody who plays me, they're like, Joe fucking cheats like a motherfucker. I'm like, I don't cheat. I just stretch the rules. But
You play raw, baby.
I play raw, baby. I'm a cheesy motherfucking git. Like, I mean, like stupid shit. Like,
That's funny.
To prevent objectives from getting captured, I like run trucks up so even if they can blow up one truck, they still got to get through the next truck and all sorts of.
Sounds like good strategy.
It's great strategy. I'm just the people look at me, they're like, that motherfucker. That was
They're
disgusting.
upset because you've outplayed them.
But yeah, but that's the thing is like when it comes to tournaments like that, it's like, come on, what's the fucking point? I get the flame tank thing because they are broke. They did nerf it a little bit.
I mean, every faction can take flame tanks, right?
No, they can't. That's the problem.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate for factions that don't. Sounds like you shouldn't play them.
Well, that's the thing is they want to make it so that
Well, I'm sure the factions that can't take flame tanks suck.
that can't tank flame tanks.
The factions that cannot take flame tanks,
Yeah.
I'm sure they suck, regardless of flame tank.
Pretty much, but
So there you go. So why fucking ban the fucking flame tanks? It's like they're already going to lose. The flame tank's just going to make it more efficient.
yeah, you're just gonna have a lot of American and Brit players. God, the British should not be allowed to write rules for the British Army. They're just like they make them so much better than they actually were.
Are the Canadians in there? I want to play as the Canucks. I'm going to model all of them being very apologetic.
with hockey sticks,
And maple syrup and pancakes.
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 Yeah, some ice skates on, maybe some flannel. Their
My
flannel uniforms.
hands shall never touch a thine butt action miniature.
Well, I'll get you to play.
Never.
I'll get Pat B to play.
You can do that. Pat has questionable taste, so he might join you in that endeavor.
It's true. It's very true.
You just be like, Pat, it's just like Call of Duty, and he'll be like, oh, awesome. Let me grab the dew and Doritos.
Let me go over to the gas station and scan some codes, some promo codes.
Tears open the Doritos in his mouth and just like starts slamming them at the same time.
No. You open up the Doritos and you pour the Mountain Dew into the bag.
That's not extreme enough.
And then what you do is you kind of just wait for all the stuff to mush, and then you just squeeze it like toothpaste. In your
No,
mouth.
but that's not extreme. Extreme is doing it at the same time, like, oh.
And what's true? It's maybe not the most extreme, but it is the most biologically efficient for an Xbox player.
If we're playing butt action, we're gonna play it extreme.
Extreme butt action! Rah! Fuck. What else did I need to talk about? You said you talked about some board games. You played some board games.
Oh, I played a bunch of board games.
Oh, I got some stuff too, but you go ahead with your board games.
All right, so I played last weekend. I played Kingdoms by Rainer Knizia.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
It's good.
How was the Kingdoms? Some guy like really commented like the voice of your your German voice sounded like death.
I am sorry.
I don't know if he actually got the references that we were making.
Explain
But...
to you how Kingdoms operates.
All right, let's not do it in the voice.
You
though.
have 3 epochs.
Three what?
Epochs.
Epochs?
Yep.
Like epics?
I don't fucking know. I don't know how to say the fucking word.
Like-
EPOCH.
Yeah, okay.
I say
like,
epoch.
Like a frame of time.
Is epoch not correct?
I think it's correct.
Okay. There are your rounds. The board is a grid.
Yeah.
Each turn you can choose to draw a tile
Yeah.
and play it on the board on an empty space. You can play one of your castles on the board in an empty space. Your castles are ranked based on their turrets, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
Why would you have a one-turret castle?
And
Sounds
then,
like an Italian castle. Weak.
you also have a starting tile, which is hidden. You
Yeah.
can choose to play that tile. You get to do one thing each turn, and then turn passes until the board is full. At the end of the board, you score. You go by rows. columns, and castles are a multiplier. So numbers are either positive or negative, and you go by the row. So if there's like a +5, +5, +5, and a -5, and you've got a 1 castle in there, it's a 10 by 1. That's worth 10 points.
Yeah.
If it's a 2 castle, 20 points. 3 points. 3 castles, 30 points, etc. There's also special tiles. There's like a gold mine, which doubles the value of all tiles in its row and column. It's a very simple, very easy game to play. I actually highly recommend it. It's a super good in-between, a palate cleanser game, if you will.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you knock an opponent out with the game? Is there any sort of battle system?
No.
Then I don't want to play it. Fuck it. Fuck it.
I mean, you can definitely fuck people over.
Well, I know, but I'm making fun of you.
Oh.
Because that's what you say about every game.
Inefficient.
Inefficient.
There needs to be conflict. There is conflict in this game.
Okay.
There's actually, like, you can directly fuck someone. Like,
Yeah.
you could be like,
You could do that in fucking almost every game.
that's not accurate.
Okay, so I know this.
Next, you're going to tell me about all the virtues of Catton.
Well, this was going to say.
Why don't you bring it to Will Wheaton?
Me, my wife, myself, and Anthony.
There's also no dice rolling in it.
Yeah,
There's no randomness.
Yeah. Anthony
Other than the
and
tiles,
his
I
wife
guess.
Annie and Anthony from Play On, we had a little board game night. We played some Catan. We haven't played in forever. And sure enough, within like 3 turns, we had surrounded Anthony, so he couldn't do anything. He literally could not do anything in the game. We fucked him up royally hard in that game. But then he did some Kingmaker bullshit that really bothered me.
Well, you guys all broke him off
I know
from
we
possibly
did.
winning.
We did.
So.
But he was like, "I'm gonna help
And that's why Settlers of Catan is fucking garbage.
No, he was like, I'm gonna help my wife win. I'm like, fuck you. That's the last thing you're supposed to do is help your wife. And I'm sitting there like next to my wife, and I'm like, I would never let you win in a million years.
Well,
And that's why we have a healthy relationship.
And that's why Catan is garbage.
That's why Catan is garbage. You can also do that in Ticket to Ride,
Ticket to Ride also garbage.
but you can block people out.
Still garbage.
It's still garbage.
It's a fucking stupid ass train game. How long does it take? Kingdoms takes like
By the way, I want to
10
say
minutes.
I want to say congratulations to Dave, who listens to the podcast, for getting his engineer license.
toot toot.
What else you play?
We played Eclipse,
Ooh,
which is the game that's touted as the fixed Twilight Imperium. Twilight Imperium isn't broken. Twilight Imperium isn't even that complicated. Twilight Imperium is long.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
The game is not that hard to play. There's a lot to it for
Yeah.
sure, but it isn't that complex. It's long. It's an epic
Yeah.
game. So if you don't want an epic game, don't play Twilight Imperium. Eclipse fucking blows.
Yeah.
I hate that game. People love it. People always tell me about how good Eclipse is.
I've
and blah,
heard-
blah, blah.
I've heard.
It's fucking shit. It's a worker placement game with
Yeah.
a combat step. That's it. So if you like worker placement games, then it'll be right up your alley. I know a lot of people really do. And like
Yeah.
that's a popular genre of games, like Caverna, Eclipse, of course. There's many worker placement games. I do not like worker placement games. I think they are very boring. And you like in Twilight Imperium, you can plot and try to win in multiple there's multiple avenues. There's
that's part of the-
none of that in Eclipse.
That's the whole thing. That's like the real draw to Twilight Imperium is that it's
Everything.
like there's like 17 different ways to win that game.
Yeah, there's everything. Like because all you do is you gain victory points. When you're at 10 victory points, you win. That's
Yeah.
You can gain victory points in many ways. In Eclipse, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Eclipse is super fucking random. Number one, it's a strategy game that's entirely random. You have research charts. You pull tiles out of a bag to see what you can research per turn.
Yeah.
Each turn you get to add 6 more because
Yeah.
we're playing 3 people. The tiles you flip up are totally random. The races are terribly unbalanced. Like terribly unbalanced. Like if you've never played Eclipse before, pick the white race.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Sorry, bro.
Whoa. Hold on. We just want to make sure that we're saying that we're not racist in any way, shape, or form.
Well, you're the one who just made it awkward. You pick the race with white pieces.
Okay, there you go. That's a
And
little
then
better.
there you go. Feel better?
Yeah.
All right.
How hard is it to add a fucking modifier?
I don't care.
Wait.
They start with build 3.
Yeah.
And what you do is when you buy if you get the build 4 upgrade, your strategy becomes you run the fighters, which are the lowest ships. You give them 2 targeting computers, so you only hit you only miss on ones. You fill the rest of their slots with missiles, the strongest missiles you can find, and then each turn you spend 1 build action. You get to make 4 of them, and they fucking destroy everything. Because missiles always shoot first. If you miss, they die, but your fighters are like 4 resource. So you spend 1 action point to build 4, which is normally 1 action point to build 2 for any other faction. You get the bonus build, so you're like 1 action point, 4 fighters. You dominate the board with them. But even then, combat in the game is garbage. It's super bad. Fighting early is terrible. Making combat your strategy is not a thing. There's going to be an average 1 turn of combat in that's the last turn of the game. Other than fighting the computer, because you can flip up tiles with enemy tokens on them. And
Would you like to play a game?
enemy tokens are the best tiles to flip up. They stop you in the early game, but
It
you
seems
can
like the
get
only
them.
way to win is not to play.
If you like worker placement games, you would like it.
Yeah.
Like the two
It does
people
not. When I saw it, I was like, it. I don't. It didn't look any
the
interesting.
2
to me.
people I played it with really like. One of them was like a huge fan of it. The other person was new to the game, like I was, and he really liked it. I didn't. I was just like, and we played 2 games. I lost the first one terribly, and then I crushed the second one. And I'm like, this game's stupid. But thank you for showing it to me. I now know how to play it. Like I was genuinely interested in like learning it, and
Yeah.
like I like playing games even if I don't like them. Unless it's something like, Snap Call, like Ticket to Ride. Like I'm never gonna play. I've never played Ticket to Ride. I will never play Ticket to Ride.
It's the easiest damn game in the world.
I don't need to play it because fuck it, it's Ticket to Ride. So yeah, I know lots of people really like Eclipse, but like it's not for me. It's not for me.
I mean, it's
The other race that's really good is research. That's the race I played in the second game. You get to spend 1 action to research 2 things, but if you fill your research track on your race board, you get plus 15 points. So on board, I was losing on the board, but when we calculated victory points, it was like, oh man, you guys that's how many points you got? Well, I have like 10 points higher than each of you because I finished my research track.
Yeah, I mean,
It also uses D6s. Also, the stat. I don't know. I could talk about
there
how much
is
I
nothing,
disliked it.
Nothing wrong with D6s.
There's plenty wrong with D6s.
You D10 master race motherfucker.
Actually, I'm a D20 guy, but okay.
I like D20, but that's only for RPGs.
I like D20 for miniature games.
D6 all the way. I like rolling thousands of D6s.
It's awful. That's why D6s are stupid, because you have to roll so fucking many
love
of them.
it.
So bad. Well, this one's you wouldn't like this then, because this is like grab your 3d6. You need 6s. Feel it. It's fucking rough.
Yeah, that sounds kind of rough. But I mean, it's better. I mean, if D10s were more available and cheap, then I might go with the D10 system. But for games like I play, which are, platoon level games or the fucking mass combat strategy games.
Platoon level.
Yeah. D10's not, there's not enough exist.
Sure, D6s are fine for like big derpy games, but like I'm saying, like board games, man.
Yeah, I'll give you for a board game, a D10 is probably a better system.
Yeah, minis games, whatevs. Like for minis games, it's depending on how many dice you need to roll to resolve an action.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you roll a D6, you have to add a lot more, unless you have a very like specific curve, like War Machine.
Yeah.
War Machine has D6s. Right.
Whore Machine.
War Hordes.
No. Whore Machine. That's what it's going to be called from now on.
Then
Sorry.
you better call it Whorehammer
No, because it's Hordes
and
War
Whorehammer
Machine.
40K.
Hordes and War Machine. Whore Machine. That's what it's called.
All right. Well, you got Whorehammer and Whorehammer 40K.
That doesn't make any sense because you're not combining it with anything.
So
that's the reason I'm calling it Whore Machine.
but that's dumb.
I'm not calling it Warmer Hordes anymore. It's Whore Machine.
All right, whatever. I mean, I don't play that game anyway. So
Yeah, it's like, what do you care?
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, what the fuck are you caring about? Anything else that you play?
Yes, I also played a game called Tragedy Looper.
Did this involve Bruce Willis?
No.
JGL.
It does involve time travel, so there's that.
Ooh.
Tragedy Looper, I'm not going to explain it as much as I can. I'm going to try and give it the simplest synopsis. It was my favorite game of the weekend. Kingdoms was the second most. Actually, I played Neuroshima Hex as well, but anyway. Tragedy Looper is a game of 1 player versus 1 to 3. It's best with 3 players versus 1. The player controlling is the mastermind. They're trying to...
Let me guess. You really like playing the mastermind.
I did not play the mastermind at all.
Oh.
I was an investigator the whole time.
Oh.
I loved the investigator way more. The mastermind is trying to commit some certain number of crimes, and they're listed on a day. So, like, you have a day tracker, and it's like, this scenario is going to last 10 days. On day 2, this event happens. On day 4, this event happens. And on day 7, this event happens. They could be things like suicide, murder, building fire, something like that. As the investigators, it's your job to stop those events from happening.
What about regicide? Is that on there?
Sure, whatever.
Nice.
It's your jobs as the investigators to stop those events from happening. The mastermind's job is to get them firing.
Yeah.
So it's a game of complete hidden information. If you fail, you reset all the tiles, everything to day 0. You add the loop track because there's a certain number of loops you're allowed, and you get to go again.
Oh, okay. So there is like a time travel aspect.
Yeah, the demo thing we played. Mastermind goes, this character moves here, we make our moves, and then at the end of the very first turn, he's like, all right, this character dies, the loop ends. You guys have lost, go to the next loop. And we're like, what? Yeah, it's really fucking great. It's called Tragedy Looper. I highly recommend it.
Who puts it out,
Z-Man.
Z-Man?
It is impossible to explain to people. Once you get it going, it's actually simple, but looking at it, it's a convoluted mess.
You accidentally changed the future.
It's really awesome.
Travel back.
That was my favorite. Oh, then I played Neuroshima Hex.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
It was all right. It's a hex based game, kind of like miniature battle almost.
Yeah.
You just draw tiles. You draw 3, discard 1. You get to play 2. It's fun. I don't really have much to say about that. It's good. I haven't found the optimal player level yet. I think 3 might be the best. Because 1 versus 1 seems a little wonky if someone gets shit on with their tile draws. Because most of the time it's okay, but you can actually just get wrecked because you're just you don't draw any units. You just draw movement tiles, so you have nothing to move, and you're just oh, I have these movement tiles and nothing on the board. Great.
Excellent.
Yeah, fantastic. So the 1v1 can be a little bad. I think. I don't know. I haven't played it a ton to find out if that's just variance. But they actually changed. I think they added a new rule in the 3rd edition because I played 2.5 and they're at 3.0 now. And apparently 3.0 has some redesigned tiles and a unlucky draw rule where I think if you draw a tile that doesn't contain a unit or something, you get to mull it.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Put
it
it
works.
back and
yeah.
You get a mulligan.
Yeah, you basically get a mulligan. So that's good.
That's a cock die.
I'll probably end up picking up the 3.0 version because it looks like they fixed a lot of the things that annoyed me because some of the special tiles that boost units they seemed really good, but they're actually pretty shit because a lot of them are really limited on what direction they can support, and they take up a tile on the board that could be a unit. So it's oh, I got this thing that can make this one guy better, but in exchange for that, it has to be here. The one guy can only be on this one tile that's adjacent, and it's also taking up space of a unit.
Yeah,
not a fan.
Well,
overall I liked it.
Oh, that's good. I had experience with 2 games this weekend. These last 2 weeks that have been pretty unique. Wrath of Kings, cracked that sucker open, got going with it. Rules are not bad.
I heard they're good.
I wouldn't say they're great, but they're
good.
They're definitely playable.
It's alternating activation, right?
Yeah. The best part of the rule set, something that makes it very unique is that so you have your board, and you know how normally when you're playing a mini game, the board is designed into halves. This is my half, and then you usually have a 12-up deployment zone.
Right.
This game actually has the board is divided into 12 different sections. Each one is a few inches up from the other one.
Okay.
So, and each unit can be placed in one of those specific zones. So you could have some guys that can forward deploy, some guys that are back deploy. I like that rule a lot.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah. The only problem is that it's a little with the okay. So this guy's in zone 1. Well, how many inches up is zone 1? You have to measure it and everything like that.
That's kind of annoying.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter in the long run. Once you get used to playing, it's not going to bother you that much. But
that game uses D10s, doesn't it?
Yes.
Nice.
Maybe?
Or D20s? I
can't remember off the top of my head.
It definitely doesn't use D6s. I'm almost 100% it doesn't use D6s.
I can't remember what the dice was off the top of my head right now. But yeah, the system is pretty it's not clean, but I could see where they're going with it. I think it needs I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some translation help with it a little bit. I feel like it was written in a different language. Very much in the Infinity problem in a lot of ways. I mean, it's not bad. It's not Infinity, early Infinity was just or the
early Infinity was I got these cool robot models.
Or what was the Batman Arkham game? The mini game?
I think it's just the Batman miniatures game.
That game is unreadable. I'm Did someone literally put this through Babelfish? Not even Google Translate, but the original Babelfish from
Google
like.
Translate blows.
Well, I mean, like it's like Babelfish from like 1998, where you're going on like fucking.
Finally, living the dream.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the models when I pulled them out, I assembled 2 factions. I had one missing model out of the entire Kickstarter, so I gotta email them and see if I can get it. And I had one miscast, so I got to talk about that one. So out of the 2 boxes that I opened up, went through everything, that was all that was wrong with it. So not bad on that end.
You better fucking not be, because it's super late. That says that when Kingdom Death finally shows up, all of those things had better be immaculate.
I did sell the 3 exclusive models, and I was just like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. I want to make money. I want money. And I did.
And I called you a Dumbo if you kept them.
Yeah, I know. But there's no reason for me to keep them, period.
There's no reason for anyone to fucking keep them.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, there's certain things like, okay, rare GW figures or stuff like that. Stuff that I like and I collect like that. Like my Kislev models. I hold on to those because I really like those models. I like having them in my collection. They're fully painted.
Well, yeah, because you have a problem.
I do have a problem. But like something like Wrath of Kings, which is a game that I might not even keep for a full year, depending upon, what I like, what I don't like. If I'm just like, fuck it, I don't want these anymore. It doesn't even matter at that end.
I'm in on that game.
Yeah. Well,
I'm picking up the ladies.
You picking up the ladies? All right. You could use. I have like a shit ton of stuff too. So if you want to use any of that,
I'm just getting one of each thing they have available.
Yeah. And I
Also, Dark Age, so hot right now.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a sec. Dark Age, so hot. 3 people talking about it. I took 2 factions. I took the Technus, which are the pig worker guys, and I took the Shale Hand, the samurai guys. I took those guys. I traded them to a guy online for to Soda Pop Relic Knights figure.
I say you lost on that trade.
I don't think so. I mean, the figures are really great. Just because I got it on there, I got the Cersei Speed Circuit, which is what I really liked. And I got the Asian guys, of course, but I'm just like, okay, I got to trade these guys now because I don't really want another Asian faction. Because as I say, if I want to paint Asian figures, I got trillions of them. I want to get either the pirate guys or the Doctrine, which are kind of like just
Gonna get some Wild West Exodus.
no. Gaming should not be in 30 mil. But so I got these, and I was going through the rule book for Relic Knights. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. Then I got to their terrain rules. Fucking hell, Soda Pop. Come on. Like, there was like 8 pages of explanation on how to tell. So the models in Relic Knights have height, on the stamped on there. So it's like, this is a level 1 figure. This is a level 2 figure, slightly bigger. This is a level 3 figure. It's one of the biggest, right? And I'm like, oh, that's great, because that helps out a lot. You don't have to worry about true line of sight, which is a big problem in like butt action
And everything.
and everything.
Every game, there's like, whenever you're right, listen, I know it's super unlikely, but if anyone listening right now is a writer for rules or a rule submitter, if you ever go like, we should just do true line of sight, fucking
Fuck you.
don't.
Fuck you.
Don't
It's
fucking do it.
It's the worst thing ever.
Awful.
Just say that this blocks line of sight. Easy enough. This type of terrain blocks this.
These models are this many inches high always, regardless of the model
model
size.
size.
Like 1 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches. They can see over things that are 1 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches.
Exactly. That's the problem. And they're like, so it's like, okay, so this model comes across this wall. Well, this model's taller than this wall, so it can blah blah blah. And it's not like, well, this model comes up directly to this guy's head. This guy's head, and this one comes up to his chin. I was like,
It's kind of funny because Mercs is a game that's designed to use flat terrain. It's not designed to be like, you could obviously use real terrain, but that's a game that's designed to be like, here's our just flip the mat out and like play with your figures on a 2D map.
Yeah.
And because of that design choice, they actually have one of the best terrain rules that would be very easily converted to other games where all the terrain is just stamped with a number.
yeah.
And like terrain, like if terrain is 1, like if it's size 1, models behind, because there's only one size of mini, which also helps. But like if terrain is size 1, models behind it have soft cover. If it's terrain size 2, models behind it have hard cover.
Yeah.
If it's terrain size 3, you cannot see them, you cannot shoot at them. Like, that's the best. And if you could actually just take that and make your models 1, 2, 3. So if your model size is 1, all of those rules apply. If your model size is 2, then the 2 counts as hardcover and the 3 is, soft cover, whatever.
Yeah.
You could just do it by numbers.
Well, I mean, that's the fucking problem with British designed rule systems, or European designed rule systems, I'll say, as opposed to Americans, is because British specifically.
But Joe, American games are Ameritrash.
Yeah. Well, they're under the type of gaming where it's like, oh well, that just wouldn't be nice if you rules loyaled it that way. And it's like, have you ever played an American tournament? Have you ever fucking played an American
Not even
tournament?
a tournament, just a fucking pickup game. Just
Yeah.
you're leaning down. You're like, all right, that guy can see that guy, and your opponent's like, no, he can't, because your interpretations of line of sight are different.
Exactly. And it's just like, fucking just make a fucking decision, right?
Yeah.
Don't. Oh,
True line of sight's horrible. Don't do it.
yeah. I actually got into a fight with a guy. I got into an
Good
internet.
friends don't let good friends use true
True
line of sight or eat bad potatoes.
I was on the Warlord forums, and just because someone put up a rule for this special figure, right?
Was it the butt action?
It was butt action.
Oh, how come it wasn't beyond the gates of
Centaur?
Taurus?
Because even though I love that rule set, those figures are just terrible.
The anus cannon, though.
The anus cannon.
It's all
Flaming anus.
It's all swollen and red.
So they had a okay. I don't know if I talked about this in the last fucking podcast, but if a rule says
you talk about butt action a lot.
I do, but you could buy this figure and it gets added to the unit and replaces the NCO. Okay.
Okay, I don't even know what an NCO is, but sure.
Well, the sergeant figure,
Okay.
the leader of the unit, right?
Squad leader.
Okay, so it said he replaces the NCO. Do you add him to the unit? Like, say it's a 5-man unit. Do you add him now? There's 6 men in the unit, and he's the leader, or do you replace the one figure and he becomes that one figure? So
Well,
only
it says
5 men.
replaces the NCO, so that seems like you would take the figure out, put the new guy in.
Okay.
Seems pretty cut and dry.
I don't. Here's the thing. If you just added the word replaces the NCO model, that would make it so much clearer on everything. I'm not arguing about the necessary intent behind the rule. I'm arguing about just make things fucking clear with when you're writing. That's my problem.
Pretend your reader is an American idiot. Make sure you
No.
write it correctly.
The way to write a rule is pretend like your reader is a
fucking idiot.
No, an American Eldar player. Okay? Pretend he's an American Eldar player and write all your rules so that he specifically knows what the fuck is going on.
How is he going to be able to see the rules through all of his tiers?
Through all this tier. But you have to make it so that you fucking understand the rules, okay? There should be no like when you're playing a game, there should be no interpretation of anything on that.
But it's just a Bane Petzels game. We're here to have a good time.
It's not cricket, you know?
I'm not fucking here to have a good time. I'm here to crush the British dick.
Exactly. It's the one time where I'm more like you, where it's just like yes, I do this to have fun, but I also don't want to have to get into a fight about a rule interpretation.
That's why I hate poorly written rules. I like clear and concise rules. One of the biggest reasons for me is because I don't want. I'm not a rule. Like, that's the thing. Like, I say a bunch of shit on this podcast, but if someone has a rule completely wrong, I'll just be like, sure, okay, whatever. Like, because if you believe in yourself as a player, you can beat someone who's playing incorrectly.
Yeah.
Like, if you're that much better. And a lot of the times when I was playing Warhammer and shit, I'd be like, all right, that rule's wrong, but sure, we'll do it your way. Like, that's how I would say it, like a dick. And I'd be like, that's totally wrong, but sure, that's fine. You can do it that way. And then I'd beat them, and I'd be like, nice cheating, by the way.
There's something to that, though.
I said that to a guy at the end. He gave me a sports score of 0. It's the one time I got a bad sports score. And, like, I talked to the judge, because if you have a 0, you have to talk to the judge. And they're like, why did you score a 0? Like, they were like, why did you score 0? And he's like, we did the altercation. And he's like, and then the judge was like, all right, so what happened? I was like, okay, so he made up this rule that doesn't exist. I allowed him to do it. And then when I beat him anyway, even though he was cheating, I complimented him on his cheating. and the judge was like, all right, you're not gonna have a 0 for sports. He basically gave me like a positive score for sports. Because your sports score was 2, 1, or 0. That was that at that event. So he gave me a 1. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But again, I complimented the guy on his cheating. It was a good cheat. It was really good for his army.
Local butt action tournament's gonna have a sportsmanship score. Just to give you a head.
Awful.
So who plays these games to have fun?
It's not even that. It's just like the sport scores are there for games that don't have concise winning or losing. Because if your game is well written and you have a win-loss,
no, those scores are there for British games. Let's put it that way. For British rule sets.
Even then, do you know how insane it would be to try and actually score a Warhammer tournament without soft scores? Because so many Warhammer games just don't finish. Like the time limit just doesn't finish.
No, yeah, it's
Because the rules are so slow. They're not meant for tournaments. Like they're clearly not.
well, they're like a game of Warhammer sometimes can, or a game. Yeah, a game of Warhammer could sometimes be like a conversation with a really boring person where you just kind of trail off, and then you're just like, okay, then I guess.
Like fantasy is
guess I'm gonna go away.
Fantasy is fucking unplayable at the tournament level unless you are both well versed and just fast.
Yeah.
40K is playable only if you're playing under a certain amount of points, but nobody plays that points level. Everyone's playing much higher.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my two experiences. And actually, aside from just that, the one thing with the terrain, the 8 pages of terrain rules, the game is actually pretty good. It's about the same level of Wrath of the Kings, where it's kind of like these rules are very serviceable. We can play with these rules. It's very small. I mean, Relic Knights, you're playing with like 8 figures max. So that's great. Wrath of Kings, it's a little bigger. You're playing with about, on a normal game, you'll probably play about 14 to 16 figures. So that's what you got going for you. And Wrath of Kings plays very much like a Horror Machine in a lot of ways, like the way the units work are like that way. So it's hard to explain. When I start playing more games, I could probably give bigger.
I mean, I'll be playing that game. So
yeah, we could give it a try. We could go play at the Dragstar.
Nope.
Okay,
Not in a million years.
we will not play at a game store. We'll play on this table.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty much.
We'll use your Zevia, whatever the fuck that is.
It's stevia soda.
So well, yeah, what Asian store did you buy that at?
Meyer grocery store.
It looks like a soda that you'd get at like some foreign market. Like I got it at Ukrainian store.
Nope, it's just
Zevia.
It's just a 0 calorie.
Oh no, it's like something you'd get at an IKEA. Like it's the Swedish soda.
It's a 0 calorie soda with no sugar and no artificial sweeteners.
No, that's totally something you get. It's like he's next to Swedish meatballs. It tastes of lingonberries.
If they had a lingonberry soda, I would buy it, but they don't.
All right, so
that's funny.
Do we got anything else?
Anything canned I buy from the Asian grocery store is always just coffee.
Yeah,
it's canned black coffee, so good.
So
good. I like Boss. Boss is a really good brand. Boss coffee. Tommy Lee Jones does the advertisement in Japan for it.
Wonderful. Are we missing any?
Dun, dun, dun.
What else? Gaming wise, do we talked a lot about game stuff.
Force of Will comes out February 13th. Pretty excited about that one. That's the new CCG.
Okay.
That's
the reason I know nothing about it, because it's the CCG.
Yeah. Well, it's not butt action, so you know nothing about it.
I have 3 games in my repertoire now.
Butt action,
4 if you
Warhammer,
count
and butt
6th
action.
edition.
Butt action, Warhammer, butt action. Long and short, it's every card game at once. It's kind of awesome.
Oh yeah.
It has elements from many card games. Many. Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a lot of people are starting to get excited about it too. So.
Yeah. We got to talk about Exploding Cats just really quick.
No, we don't. Who hasn't heard of that by this point?
Some people might have. It's Exploding Kittens, actually.
What is it on? How many millions?
That's what I'm looking up right now. I'm going to bring it up.
I'll tell you, it's too many millions.
How the fuck did that game get $4 million?
The Oatmeal.
I know, but I mean, I didn't even think the Oatmeal was that.
All right, here's the thing. I've seen the Oatmeal, like from Facebook shares. So the fact that I've actually seen it, I'm just like, all right, so that must be hugely popular if I've seen it.
Yeah, but I don't.
So, you know how many other webcomics I've seen that I haven't personally shared, like being Owl Turd and Noob the Loser? Those are the webcomics I share. 0. You know what? I think I've seen the one that's literal stick figures. I've seen that one before.
Oh, XCKD.
Sure. I don't read it.
Randall Monroe's one.
I don't read it because it's literal stick figures.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you don't have the artistic skill to at least draw like something that remotely resembles a person, fuck you. I'm not reading your shit.
I like XKCD.
You would.
XCKD.
It seems like a hipster thing. So
it's more of a sciencey thing. Exploding Kittens is at $5 million.
There you go.
$5 million.
Crushing the dick of every game Kickstarter ever. And it has the most backers of any Kickstarter ever, if I remember correctly.
It's got 126,224 backers.
Okay, so it's got the most backers of any Kickstarter of all time, and it's definitely got to be the #1 traditional game Kickstarter.
I don't even. It might even be one of the top Kickstarters of all time.
Oh no, it's definitely high up there. But like, I mean,
Did it beat the?
the Ouya's at 8. The Ouya made like 8 million.
Okay.
The coolest cooler was like 14 million.
Oh really?
Yeah, that thing's the #1 Kickstarter. It's 14 million. And then like second place was some weird headphone thing that was like 10 million. Yeah, so it's definitely not. It's definitely got a long way to go before it hits the the top.
Let's go with the
Kickstarters.
pros first. Pro. It's not
A Cards Against Humanity
Cards
clone,
Against Humanity clone.
which is itself a clone of Apples to Apples, but with words like dongers.
The biggest, blackest dick. But you know what? This won't have the combination of putting out 2 cards from Cards Against Humanity, allowing you to take a picture and put it on the internet and saying, "Look how clever my grandmother was when she played this card."
When she masturbated to Grandpa's ashes.
Which you see online all the time.
Yeah, it's true because it's really funny. That's Cards Against Humanity is a game for people who don't play games.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
But I mean, the game actually doesn't look too bad. It looks
terrible. If you don't have a defense card, you lose. You have to sit and watch everyone else play. That game seems fucking awful. It's just like, oh, I randomly lost. Cool.
It doesn't look
Sick game.
It
looks
terrible.
like a piece of shit. It looks like one of the worst fucking games I've ever fucking seen.
But
garbage.
It does have a hairy potato cat.
I'm sure you'll be right along with Will Wheaton talking about the greatness of this game. Remember, Will Wheaton says, "Don't be a dick." That's Will Wheaton's job.
That's I do like the fact that it's only 56 cards, though. It's a small game. I like that.
Yeah, it's a fucking deck of poker cards.
It's a deck of poker cards.
Fucking garbage. It's total trash. I hate it.
Yeah, it's $20. Whatever.
I hate it for all time.
I just don't like making other people millionaires. I want to be the millionaire.
And it's not even like I hate the oatmeal. Like the oatmeal comics I read they were amusing.
Yes,
but
did they give you a sensible chuckle?
Yeah, sure. I'll give it that. Like, oh, how droll.
Exactly. Yeah. Sensible chuckle.
Yeah, that was like, but no, just like
I did an LOL, but you chuckled out.
Fucking
you chuckled.
man, it's so bad. Like, I read the blurb of the game. It's like, if you don't have a kitten defense in your hand, you just lose and wait for everyone else to finish. And I'm like, how is that the game?
Yeah, but if the game goes quick, it probably wouldn't matter.
If it's the fastest game of all time, sure. But I'm willing to bet it's not going to be.
And also, it's a great game for you because you can instantly knock out players. That
you can't. It's random. You can't choose to knock out players. You just get shit on. You flip the top card. If it's an explosion and you don't have the defense card in your hand, you just lose. It's totally random. That's the thing. Like knocking out.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
I don't know. Probably often because it says like half the cards are explosions and half the cards are defense. So probably a fuck ton.
Could be. Could very well be.
But it sounds awful.
Yeah.
And it's not. It doesn't sound good enough for me to even attempt trying
There's so much of other gaming stuff I want to talk about. We're already at our hour. I know I got the newest Ravage magazine. Ravage, which only comes out like once every 12 months, apparently.
I got this great story. I was at Steak and Shake yesterday with Joey Liu. He's one of the guys who plays Vanguard, and he's playing Dark Age as well. And he's telling us this story. He's like, all right, so I'm going to put myself in the Joey Liu spot. So he's like, okay, so my friend's uncle was doing security for C2E2. And we asked him if he could get us in, and he did. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure, you can get in. And he gave us these passes. He's just like, you have to have passes on. So we just like found some and grabbed them. And then Joey Liu and his 2 friends were wearing speaker passes. And the caveat for the uncle getting them the passes is they had to get the signature of the girl from Castle.
Yeah.
And so the 3 of them are waiting in line, and they wait in line, and like, you know, they have the pic. They each have a picture, and like they get their pictures. And Joey Lou puts it down. And he's like, thanks. And like she's like signing it. And she's like, oh, thanks. And he's like, oh, thanks a lot for the picture. And like they take the picture down. And there's a guy at the booth as well. And he turns and looks at Joey Lou, and he sees they all have the speaker badges. And he's like, oh, so you guys are guest speakers, huh? And Joey Lou looks at him, and just goes, I'm special. And then he walks away. You know who that guy was? Fucking Nathan Fillion. we're like, did you just fucking tell Nathan Fillion that you were special? And his friend Siegfried was there, and Siegfried did the face that Nathan Fillion pulled when he said he was special, and it was just like, it was the most weird looking face. Everyone was just dying laughing. He's like, I'm special.
Well,
it's so good. was
Well,
fucking awesome.
guess you had to be there.
I fucking love Joey Lou. Oh, it's so good.
Thug Life didn't choose him.
He's just keeping it real.
He's keeping it real.
Keeping it real. He's a real OG.
But anyway, back to what I was saying about the Ravage before we went on that little tangent. God, I wish I could get the last 40 seconds back.
I don't know. Your stories are the worst thing ever. My stories at least have some entertainment factor.
They did a really good write up of the Hex versus WotC, or WotC versus Hex lawsuit. So I recommend it if you're interested in
Speaking of
that.
which, I got to sell my Hex cards.
before that market collapses.
Not even about the market. Like the second set blows.
Yeah.
It's like I was excited. I was like, oh, new set, cool. And then I played it. I'm like, man, I gotta sell my cards.
Oh, fuck this shit.
Fucking bad.
Aside from that,
See, they can't be copying Magic because their second set is the worst CCG set I've ever played with in my life.
okay. I think that's about it. Did you have anything to add with the Dark Age? I know
Immeasurable bow skills. Oh, just Dark Age seems to be like people are talking about it, which is weird.
they are, which I did. That was in a recent issue of Ravage as well.
Yeah, I was just like, huh, people are talking about it. But yeah, the reason like I got hyped about it again is because Joey Lou saw the video I shared for that contest, and he's like, this game looks fucking awesome. And I'm like, all right, well, let's play. So like now I have a reason to actually get my shit done, which is great.
Yeah.
Because other than that, it would just be like me battling Kevin repeatedly, which like would be fine, but like that's not an environment.
challenge.
But now it's not even about a challenge. He might very well kick the shit out of me. I've never played against this faction before, but now that like there's a bunch of people playing, I was like, yes,
Yeah.
I have a little group,
Very
have a little
good,
group
but-
going.
yeah.
Then we could be the Jersey group.
You could be. No, it is I who is the Jersey group.
It's us is who's the Jersey's group is.
All right. So, anything else? No? All right. Go to PlanetArbitrary.com for your Planet Arbitrary needs. You can find me on Twitter at Planet Arbitrary. You can follow Steve at GameClassy. Like our Facebook page, /GameClassy. You can find a picture of me and Steve. It doesn't kind of look like me or Steve.
We just need the glasses.
We
The
really,
glasses are important.
Yeah. I don't know why I have a baseball cap on. I've never
Are you
worn
sure? I thought that was me.
I thought that was, well, either way, it doesn't. Well, that guy has a full beard. I have the full beard.
Fair.
Yeah. So I was a little confused on that one as well because I've never worn a baseball cap in my life.
Really?
No. I'm not a baseball cap guy.
I really want to get a baseball cap. So I've been trying to find it. It's fucking impossible. But I want a baseball cap. And if I have to custom make it, I fucking will, I guess. But I want a baseball cap that has a baseball, a basketball, a football, like a hockey stick, pucks on it, like sports equipment.
Yeah.
And I want the baseball cap to just say sports.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear that.
I would. You could wear that.
Wear that at work. Sports.
Yeah.
Like the Heroes and Lose album.
The seeds of victory that were planted in September have grown or withered on the vine as comes January.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
For this Sunday is the Super Bowl.
Oh, is that actually a thing?
Yeah.
Is that really this week?
It's this Sunday, yeah. I'm not going to watch
The
it.
Porcupine says that the Seahawks are going to win.
Yeah?
The Porcupine's 4 for 4.
The Porcupine is 4 for 4?
Yeah, this would make a 5-peat. If the Porcupine's right, it'll be a 5-peat.
Did you hear about the whole Deflategate thing?
I heard the word Deflategate, and I was like, is this related to Gamergate in some way?
Oh, man. 4chan's really getting on about it. No, apparently, I think it's the Indianapolis Colts are really butthurt because they lost to New England, and they said that the balls didn't have enough air in them. But I'm like, to put this in gamers' terms, it's like someone blaming their dice.
Well, not even that. That would be an equal advantage-disadvantage. If there's an advantage to be gained from having a deflated ball, both teams would get it because the ball's shared.
Only unless you know that the ball doesn't have enough air in it. So
But
you
how
know.
would that give you
It doesn't fucking matter. It's a bunch of people complaining about something that makes absolutely no sense, and it made national fucking news.
Whatever, it's sports. Like, sports are awful. Like, fucking terrible. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, it's just like, who gives a fuck? I mean, I find
Like, that's one of the few things that's actually worse than, like, casual and historical games. Like,
sports. Sports games?
Yes.
What about, no, sports games I think are worse than sports.
No way, man. Tecmo Super Bowl forever.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Hold on. NBA Jam.
Yeah, NBA Jam, also great.
He's on fire.
He's on fire. Razzle dazzle. Fucking love NBA Jam. Oh, they need to make a new one of those.
Yeah. And the movie Space Jam.
Yes. Everybody get up. It is time to slam now.
So anyway, Facebook page. You can see a picture of me and Steve for some odd reason or another.
Dude, it's fan art. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good fan art. I mean, if he has the glasses, that's probably the best.
Yeah, we both have the same glasses, pretty much. So
just
they're just thick. They're just thick rectangular glasses.
To help out with to differentiate between me and Steve, I think I have the full beard. Steve generally has a long, like chin beard, like a beard, but he doesn't have the mustache.
Yeah, no
attached.
mustache.
He doesn't have a mustache attached to it. And his hair is usually right now it's
Right now my
pretty
head's
close.
shaved.
Yeah.
But
So there you go on that one. I'm also the svelter one of the two of us. So there you go.
I don't think I'd ever use the word svelte to describe you.
No, but I say svelter of the two of us
I
in
see.
All
All right, so I guess
Yeah.
if we're gonna be crude, Joe's fat, I'm really fat.
yeah. I mean that works. Rate, comment, subscribe on iTunes and the YouTubes. It's the best way to help out the podcast. Just get us out there. Also, comment on the Tabletop Gaming News podcast roundup. Thank you, Polar Bear, for lumping us in with the rest of these ass clowns.
You should put us in a special spot just
Yes,
for game
just
classy.
for Game Classy.
It always stays at the bottom of the page, just out of reach. So you're like trying to scroll to it.
No.
and it
As
just
soon
goes
as
away.
it's like you just see the top of it, and then when you scroll down, it just goes all the way up to the
Yes,
top, and
there
you're
you
like,
go.
you can't get it. It just constantly, you're like, ah.
I don't
Frustration.
You'd be frustrated by
I would
that
too. I would just be like, fucking A.
I'd be okay.
Yeah, Steve would be fine with it. Get your tickets to Adepticon. See us at Adepticon. I'll be playing in the Butt Action Tournament. Steve will be giving hand jobs in the parking lot.
Those aren't going to be free.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to be free.
Well, you said giving.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he'll
Get
be
it fucking right.
he'll be exchanging money
I'll
for
give you
hand jobs in the parking lot.
I'll give you a greasy, callousy hand job.
it'll be
It's extra if you want me to throw up on you or anything like that.
yeah,
If you got a kink.
so wonderful. Aside from that, am I missing anything? Listen to
Nothing more than the usual.
listen to the Play On podcast where they talk about video games and
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
You know, for a retro video game podcast, they don't talk about retro video games very often.
Pat B, the epic retro video game collector, in quotation marks. I go over to Second and Charles down on 59th Street, massive collection of Atari games. Send him a picture. I'm like, you got to get here and get these fucking Atari games and blah, 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 blah. He goes there. He buys 3 Game Gear games. I'm like, fuck you, Pat. You're not
Yeah,
retro.
But Atari sucks.
I'm just saying retro.
I mean, even, like,
I'm just giving him shit.
sure, that's reasonable, but, like, Atari's terrible.
Well-
Like, really, really bad. Like, NES, those games are fine. Like, there's a bunch of shitty NES games, sure. But they're more than like the Atari games are fucking. It's a rectangle with a smaller rectangle on it, and like, what is that? Oh, that's a tank. It's this one. This one's just an open circle. And it's like, what's that? Oh, that's the alien spaceship. And you're like, Like I get Atari. I appreciate it because it was thing. My first system was Vectrex, but no,
Mine was
like,
the Odyssey.
that thing was barely a thing. That's awesome. Did you play Haunted House where you put the fucking Haunted House screen on?
No, I
and-
did not. I did
and
not
you
have that
chase
one.
each other? Oh, man. The Odyssey's fucking garbage.
There was a couple good bootlegs. Like there was like a Pac-Man bootleg on it, and asteroids and stuff like that. There was a really
I don't think that's the Odyssey.
no, that was the Odyssey.
The Odyssey is a system that puts lights on your TV that you can control with the
This
paddles.
was that might have been a different version of the Odyssey.
Oh, maybe it was a higher level Odyssey.
Could be.
Because
Or
the
a-
original Odyssey is like you actually had to put overlays on your television
no,
for color and stuff.
This was
It might have been like Atari because Atari had like the Atari 26, the 32, the 52, the 7200.
yeah. There was a really great Westworld game. I remember.
Okay, so that's not the Odyssey I'm thinking
Where it
of.
was like you played 2 players and it was 2 cowboys. They'd have to go through different terrain and just get a shot off at each other.
Yeah, those old things, fuck it. Like Nintendo games.
This whole point was just to make fun of Pat B for not really being a true retro video game collector.
very good.
Now he's gonna get all upset at me and be like, "What the fuck, dude? Those games were bullshit. They were in bullshit condition." Yeah, that's what he'll say to me.
Well,
Buy
I mean-
some Game Gear games.
That would be a logical response.
Yeah.
But you've given him the ammunition to defend against this attack. He's just
No.
like,
I've already called him on his attack.
oh, but what if he really wrecks you and goes like, I own all those games.
Yeah, I know he does it. I've seen his collection.
All right, fair enough.
I've seen his collection. This is just infuriating him more as I'm saying this. All right, so Steve, until next time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Game Classy.